Today's podcast brought to you by Salt. Fucking get some.
Gotta enjoy salt. You gotta get your daily dose of salt, man.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the Hell of I Know podcast. Episode 4, I believe. I think we made it to 4. We're
I thought we were
almost
five.
to a full hand, so pretty soon we can start jerking ourselves off. We do that already, but it's, it's good to know.
Hey, if you count with your... I'm not even going to finish that joke.
Mac made a smart decision there, probably. So yeah, episode 4.
This is going to be more of a rant.
This
More
is
than
the
anything.
this is the Oversalt Ragecast this week. That's the title right there. We'll see if we come up with any better ones.
Fuck the hamster fuckers.
So, I guess I'm really just confused.
On.
What the fuck is happening with Overwatch?
You
Someone needs-
mean with this since the start, or just since lately?
Well, listen. When the game came out, I'll admit that I was one of those people that said I didn't want to play it. It didn't look like a game I would like.
Same.
And I've since played every competitive season since season 4. So, I will admit that I'm a hypocrite for ending up playing. I don't know if I'm a hypocrite for ending up playing the game. It would be different if I said it's a shit game, but then I play it every fucking night.
I mean, it is a shit game, and we play it every single night.
True. But the most noticeable thing I've noticed, that was a dumb sentence, is the characters are either getting not repetitious, and I get Hammond, or Wrecking Ball, whatever the fuck you want to call him, Forbes magazine.
The hamster.
The hamster. It just seemed like an odd cliche to bring in. Like, I understand we're in a world with sentient gorillas. I get that. I really fucking get that. And that means that the door is open for anything. A house cat in a ninja suit could have happened. The Khajiits could be coming. But
Maybe they should go elsewhere. Like, fucking the Elder Scrolls series.
True. Be on the outskirts of town in a tent. First one's the dragon eats on the way in. But I found it fascinating the entire time that this is the character we choose to expand with again. And that doesn't change a lot of things I've had. The game has done wrong, in my opinion. The putting defense and DPS together, I think, is dumb. Because some of those characters just do not agree with each other. Like, Bastion arguably should have been a tank from the beginning. We won't talk about that, but probably should have been. But
Well, you have the tank form of Bastion and Orisa. I mean, obviously her fire speed isn't as fast, but
well, yeah, I know, but I mean, like, from the beginning, I mean, we've done it in comps we've had where you could get away with fucking having one tank and a Bastion on defense.
yeah.
And he because he has his self-heal now, and he had the self-heal before, he basically made up for the difference in health with the ability to self-heal. And I mean, it's a fast self-heal. It's not like it's not like a nade that has a cooldown. Like, it's just he turns and burns health on himself.
Yeah. I think with me the biggest thing is, and I know you got to keep your I know you got to keep your fucking community guessing, but the community's outrage that it was that Hammond is a hamster as opposed to the other gorilla that was the fucking. People are getting way too fucking into the lore, and I get that people jerk off to the lore all fucking day, but at the end of the day, it's a fucking game.
But no, well, let's just take the lore argument at its base, right? The idea is that the lore is created, there's these pictures in the background, it's taking everything shot for shot, kind of like a movie, and explaining why the set looks the way it does.
Yeah.
In that sense, yes, there was another gorilla in those pictures, which is true. The idea that the people who make that world and that universe aren't allowed to tweak it is kind of mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to the argument of, like, and I know I'm going to catch hell for this, but bitching about, like, the prequels of Star Wars versus the original 3. When you invent that world, you get to do whatever the fuck you want to that world. Because it's yours.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that they don't call a Senate hearing of all the fans every time they want to do something. But that's part of being chief creative officer and being chief executive officer and chief operations officer. Those people, and then in directors meetings and artist meetings and stuff, decide the direction the game is going to go. And I think Wrecking Ball Hammond / Mechadeath looks cool, and I think he could be cool to play. I haven't played him personally, so I'm not going to talk about his gameplay physics or how he plays. I think what's odd is that he just seems so genteel as compared. And the game isn't meant to be uber violent, I don't think. There's not, like a lot of blood. It's not, Doom. But he seems like an even more genteel version of a game that's already pretty genteel.
Yeah. Well, I think, the whole thing that I think the fans need to realize is you can hope and you could fucking wish for whatever character you want. They were hoping for the Junker Queen. They were hoping for the Omnic that was posted in the Black Watch series. They were hoping for fucking God knows what. They were hoping for the monkey as opposed to the hamster. But when you get down to it, we were all hoping Terry Crews was going to fucking voice Doomfist.
And it didn't happen.
And what you slowly begin to realize is they're going to do things their own way. They're not going to listen to what you want.
Well, it's not even that it's not even that. I'm not going to say they don't want to do what the fans want. I don't think that's entirely it. I think they do. I think Blizzard, for one, takes into account what the fans want. We have to admit that they're a company that's gone strong for a lot of years now. I think it's part of the fact that the fan isn't always right. There's decisions that have to be made, and there's casting decisions in that case, or in this case, creation decisions. And those decisions have to be made with a certain thought in mind, and that thought is the continued success of the game. And you can't make a character that's, completely unplayable. You can't make a character that's completely unbalanced. You can't... a multiplayer game is so much harder to design, I think, than a single-player game. Like what we've been talking about with, 76, which, once again, 76 comes up because we're still uber hyped. But it's a good example. Bethesda has done a lot of single-player games. Taking that into a multiplayer game, it's challenging. It's a whole new idea. It's a whole new realm you have to work with because you have to work on things that are going to be happening simultaneously, things that are going to be happening all the time. People are all over the place. You have to account for so many more variables, I think, than you do in a single-player environment. And to have as big of a flagship product as Overwatch to continue to be successful so many now years after launch is impressive because they keep it fresh and they keep new things coming. And we talk about it and we complain, but at the same token, we still play it, which shows that the game is still fun. The game is still enjoyable to be a part of. So.
But, first looking at Hammond, I was kind of pissed off because it's a fucking hamster. And, we hadn't got another sentient animal, since the launch with Winston.
I think I wonder. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
I was sitting there, I'm like, this is a stupid fucking idea. And then you look at stats and shit like that. You watch gameplay of it. Because I watched gameplay and not actually played it myself and stuff like that. But the quad cannons, and you said that, I'm like, that is ridiculous amount of damage. But it's not really. It's 5 damage per shot. And the fall off is 15 meters.
Yeah, and he's also he's not super mobile when he's shooting. He's kind of like Bastion. When he deploys, it is going to kill his mobility, I think.
Yeah. I
would imagine. People are comparing him to, we've heard on our server, you hear him compared to a droideka from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which he looks like a droideka, dead ass.
Dead ass. That's definitely the inspiration.
So that's, I think, which is good because that's the trade. There's always has to be a trade for a move. It's like what we've been talking about it this week, obviously, because the new Symmetra turrets are wild. And they're not that wild, but I don't like that now she can throw turrets and there's no cost or punishment for it. And I'm not saying she needs to be insta-kill when she's deploying a turret, but just to be able to throw one behind an enemy who's defending a point is really annoying because my idea...
They shouldn't be able to go through shields.
They shouldn't be able to go through shields because they can go right through Ryan's shield, nonstop. They just go right through. They go right through Orissa's shield. They go right through Winston's shields. It shouldn't go through shields. If it's going to hit a shield, it should stop. But, it should be able to stick to the shield. That'd be funny. You think you're defending your friends and then you have something stuck to you. That'd work. Or even just have it bounce. Just have it be able to be reflected. But to have it go through and then stick behind me, as a Rhine main, I'll own it. I don't know why I have to say I own it. It's not like I'm a sim main, but with the Rhine main thing, it's annoying because you're already defending so much with your shield, and it's a big shield. It's a huge shield. But you have to think about where you're looking, and now all of a sudden a Symmetra can double down on you by making you in a crossfire without even having to pay that punishment. She can throw it from out of your line of sight, basically, and stick it to behind you, and now you're being damaged from behind. You drop your shield to turn around and do it, And now it's like, now there's a chore. Like, now your DPS are going to have to work this chore all the time to save you, or you have to drop your shield all the time. I just think they could be nerfed or just make them bounce off shields. But to go through shields, I think, is just a step too far on those turrets.
Real quick, I'm going to go back to the lore, and I'm going to put a bunch of lore nerds down real quick. Winston is 29 years old. Winston got off. Fucking Hammond is 14. Hammond wasn't alive when Winston was on the fucking spacecraft. So don't get pissy that Hammond's not a fucking gorilla. That's all I'm saying.
Can I just say that you raged so hard that for a second you lagged? Like,
Did I?
When you let off, it actually went, and it like stopped you for a second. It got all of it, but it was just funny.
I will say the one thing about Hammond that I don't like is that his grappling claw can go forever.
Oh, has it got a long range on it? Is it longer than Rhodes Hook?
No, I mean, when I say it can go forever, it's not that it has a long. The area affects 6 meters, so it's not that big, but you can literally hold on to an object forever. So, say Lijiang Tower, the gardens section where you can latch onto that pillar in the middle, and you can spin around the fucking room in circles forever, just dealing damage over and over and over again. I hate that aspect. I think it should have a bit of time where it can't latch on, where it automatically snaps you off, but
and maybe it will, because again, we have to remember this character's in the PTR, so
yeah,
it's like we were talking about it here on the server, and I was talking about it with some people. It's probably not going to hit the prime game like that. It's going to go through some changes, which is fair. I mean, in the last couple of characters that have been released, they went through some serious changes. Like, Anna that was released was not even close to the Anna that started in the PTR. You look at, like, I've seen people play PUBG PTR, the public test region for PUBG, and the rifles in there do so much more damage and less drop than they do in the main release. Like, I think I was watching Shroud play, and it was just stupid. Like, you could just snipe people with, like, I think, like an SKS, you could snipe at, like, 700 to 800 yards with no drop. Like, you could just hit them with the iron sights. And it was like, holy shit. By the way, if you feel bad about your PC PUBG skills and you want to get better, or you want to just feel better about yourself, play mobile PUBG. If you're even mediocre at PC PUBG, you'll slaughter people on mobile. It's not even fair. Like, I played 4 times and have 3 wins. I've probably played 100 games of normal PUBG and have no solo wins, 1 duo win, 1 squads win. So,
this podcast not actually brought to you by Bluehole.
No, they make a good game though. Just not brought to you by Bluehole.
Decent game.
I like it, but I think I'm the only one on the server that does.
You're probably the only one still on the server that likes it.
Yeah, but I guess, like, again, to wrap up the Overwatch segment of this podcast for right now, I think overall I don't dislike Hammond. He's gonna have to get to the PTR first, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I do love that the biggest piece of rage anyone has had that I found is, once again, this Forbes article where the guy bitches about the name. Like, you have it pretty good in a video game, especially a multiplayer game, with the biggest bitching point on a new character is that you don't like the name. So
you got the name wrong.
If the name does not click with you, too bad, I guess. But
I will say, before we click off of the Overwatch, I do like that Hammond is actually a very high skill character. Right after we get Stuns Are Us, pretty easy character.
Yeah, because Stuns Are Us, fucking Brigitte.
Stuns Are Us, Baguette, Brigade. We don't care.
So his ability overview, just really quick before we end, is he has quad cannons, like we said, they're automatic assault weapons. He has roll, transform into a ball, and increase maximum movement speed. The grappling claw, which is launch a grappling claw to rapidly swing around the area, enables high-speed collisions to damage and knock back enemies. Pretty much it sounds kind of like a faster, less... Like, you can't get snagged on it, I don't think, so it's kind of like when you get booped by Reinhardt's charge. Like, if you get caught on the outside of the charge, that's kind of what it is. Minefield, deploy a massive field of proximity mines. That's going to be fucking hilarious.
It's more... I've seen a majority of people that I've watched on YouTube do more zone blocking. So basically put them
like on the second point on Lijiang, you could block right side and make them go left.
Yeah.
Or make them work
put it, or put it on on 2CP, put it on the point and just basically just go off. Because they last there forever.
Yeah.
or until they're destroyed.
I wonder if they can kill. I wonder if that's going to be like tanks can. It would be tanks that would set them off.
Well, it
So
looks
like you
like
send
it's
your tank in.
130 damage per mine
That's
right
not
now.
too bad.
Well, they shoot out like deploys 15 proximity mines, so it's not too bad. But yeah,
Well, no, but I mean, like, I bet you if like I'm wondering if you can shoot them. Like, can Widow shoot them and set them off?
they looks like they have 50 health, so it looks like she can set off one. I don't think they all explode at the same time when one goes off, but
Well, no, but I'm saying like, okay, so here's another good example. You know how Ryan can clear turrets, or Winston can clear turrets with like his shock and stuff.
yeah,
I'm wondering if like a hammer, like if you swing your hammer, can you get a couple in a swing, or like would Winston be a good counter to that, where Winston can drop in and like zap them all? You know what I mean?
yeah.
I wonder if that's how that would work.
Interesting thing. It does look right now. Wrecking Ball can regain ult while the minefield is deployed.
And the minefield
So
is
that-
an ult, right?
Yeah, the minefield is the ult, so
Okay.
that's a little weird.
Because
as
he also
opposed to
has
other
adaptive shield.
Yeah.
Create temporary personal shields. Amount increases with more enemies nearby. And
It's 100 per enemy.
100 per enemy, and then pile driver, slam into the ground below to damage and launch enemies upward. So pretty much.
I like the pile driver ability. That's
Now,
really
does
cool.
pile driver work like Earth Shatter, where it knocks them down, or does it just lift them up?
It works a lot like Doomfist's.
Oh, Doomfist
Uh,
uppercut.
Yeah, Doomfist uppercut.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. Overall, I think he'll be a fun character to play.
He looks
once,
fun to. I mean, like he looks fun to play.
Yeah, once people get over the whole skill gap, because they're saying that I saw one of the pros say this is probably a 5-star character as opposed to a 3-star character. So,
And
there's
again,
a huge skill gap.
and let's be again, we need to remember that it will change as the PTR goes on.
Yeah.
Everything we just said is complete speculation because by the time he's released to the Prime game, it will not be the same. So.
Yeah.
And even then, he'll get nerfs and stuff like that. People get nerfed all the time, so we shall see.
It only takes 2 months for them to finally get nerfed, but they do get nerfed.
They do get nerfed.
Well, I think that's pretty much it.
We're pretty close to actually having done like 20 or 30 minutes, I think.
It wasn't too ragey.
It wasn't as ragey because I think part of it is we understand games better than we did probably when we first started playing Overwatch. I think we have a much deeper understanding of how games are developed, and I think it makes us respect the system. And I think people overlook the business side of things, which is wrong because it's not fair to the people who make the games who are trying. It is part of making a living. These people don't do it out of the kindness of their heart. So you have to understand the business aspect, the marketability, things like that, which decides a lot of characters because they need to be able to make merch off of these people, like off of the characters. So if you make a character that has no merch, you're wasting a lot of back end things you can make.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's,
Okay.
I think, going to do it for Hell If I Know Episode 4. Again, we keep these short, fast, and to the point just for you guys to watch on your free time. Be all sure to check back at the YouTube channel every Wednesday at noon. That's when we release them. Once a week, Wednesdays at noon. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I hope you come back next time, and hope you always stay awesome. Bye-bye.